met a guy last night, and when I say that, for dinner, and he was, he's not with us yet. And he says, I learned so much from your napkin presentation. He's telling me about it, right? No, 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 I've seen it online. I started showing you, no, no, I've seen that. No, I've seen that, right? So it's definitely online, which, is great. So you guys can watch it, but I'll do it live for you. Maybe it'll make a little more impact, right? And you guys can ask me questions because I'm going to do it in a way that I want you to kind of explain it to other folks. Does that make sense? So let's are you recording me now? In pro- cut it out. What's that? What's that mean? Oh, okay, good. Holy mackerel, you got the light. Between men and women, I don't know if you saw that gal that did the TED Talks, and it's true. There's a little difference between men and women. And she showed it up on, I don't know if you've seen that TED Talks, and she showed what guys see in the mirror in the morning, Tucker. We all look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, seriously. I mean, we look in the mirror and we go, oh, yeah. Yeah. And women, oh, women, you're just not the right shape. You're not the right size. And it's so true, right? In life, it's really real. So I just think I'm really good looking. Okay, anyway, I've always thought that. I still am. So before I started with EXP 10 and a half years ago, I thought I have to be able to show this model on a napkin. The main problem you guys have if you're having problem recruiting is you start off with the benefits, right? You start off with, we got Susi, Saucy, Kanva, but I don't even know. But there's all this stuff, right, that International puts out. I saw it the other day, and there's like 30 things. So you start with the benefits rather than, you've got to explain why we have killed it, right? Why we have gone crazy. So you start off with this, and I use this as just a basic. I said, is it okay if I do this first? By the way, I only do this after what? What do we do first? Tell me about yourself. Write it down, Team A. Team A. Tell me about yourself. And then how long do you go till you get all their needs? As long as it takes. If you say, tell me about yourself, and they're a high I, well, guess what they're going to do? They're going to talk for 30, 35 minutes. They're going to start off at grade school. They're going to go to high school. And you're going to go, Kevin's going to go, whoa, this is going to be a long time. Well, guess what? Suck it up, big dog. Because the whole key is to get the benefits. I want to know who their spouse is, what their name of the spouse is. I want to know what the spouse does, because that says a lot. I want to know everything about them, and I want to know where they want to be in 5 years before I even do this. Is this okay? The problem is you don't do that. I do that. Okay? Remember this, and I'll tell you this story really quick, why it's all about them. It's not about you. And I see you guys do this a lot too. Oh, let me tell you why I joined. Oh, I can't wait to tell you. I'm so excited. They don't care. They don't care. Nobody knows why I joined. I never tell my story. You go, Gene, you got a great story. I said, no, but I don't tell my story. See, in other words, it's all about them. Let me give you one example. 2006, I'm a team leader for Keller Williams, and my beautiful wife, Susan, who you guys have all seen, she's gorgeous. And 20 years ago, 2006, she got breast cancer. Boom. We went through surgery. She's going through chemo, losing her hair, and she's got a blonde wig on. And she's sitting in the office right next to me, looking at a computer like this. And I'm here, and a guy walks in to interview. I'm still interviewing people. And I said, well, tell me about yourself. Guess what he says? Well, my wife's going through breast cancer. I go, really? Tell me about that. 45 minutes later, he signs up, he walks out, and Susan turns around and says, you never mentioned me. I said, honey, it's not about us. Is that about as blank as you can be? How easy is it for me to just go, Susan, tell them about you, right? All the sales books you've written are wrong. I'm right. I'm just telling you, it's not about connecting. Your kid plays soccer, my kid plays soccer. Your kid plays hockey, my kid plays hockey. Your kid plays hockey? Tell me about that. Why does he play hockey? Does this make sense? When you get good like I am, I've been interviewing real estate agents for a long time and I've been recruiting. By the way, if you recruit for anything, it's all about them. It's not about you. The problem is you start talking about you way too quick. Does that help you guys? Yes.
What if it's like a good friend or
A
someone
good friend, they know you anyway.
you know?
They know you're goofy anyway, so don't, they know all your faults.
Started off instead of
No, start. What's your goals? If it's a good friend, what's your goals for the next 3 years, 5 years? Where do you see yourself? How are you going to get there? I want to help you, right? Because we've got it all. We've got Susi, Saucy, Canva, Kava. I don't even know. I don't know. Seriously, you'll get into that later, right? When you're solving it. The problem is you get into it. I'm just trying to solve some of the problems you guys have. Is you talk way too much and you don't listen intently. Write it down. You listen intently. Okay. So I do this every time. I actually brought to the dinner table last night papers and markers. I mean, you do you guys? I do. I'm at dinner and I'm bringing it. I'm bringing my stuff. How are you going to do this without right? And after I was done, I signed it. He said, "Could you sign that?" See, does anybody ask you to sign what you've done? No, seriously, it happens all the time, right? Because everybody's visual, right? Why did Superman be able to see through the clothes? Because he was a guy. I just thought of that one last night. I thought, every guy wants to see through the clothes. Okay. Um, isn't it? Now the women go, nice jacket, Gene. Like yesterday, nice women came up to me, nice jacket, Gene. But the guys are like, God dang, man, I can see right through your clothes. Okay. Yeah, certain guys. Okay. Here's the napkin presentation. You can just hone it. Don't worry about how long I take now, but you guys can hone it. You can get it down in like literally a couple minutes, minute and a half. So you're not taking a lot of time. You go, I just want to tell you why we're killing it, right? Why we're the Netflix versus Blockbuster. Why we're the Amazon versus JC Penney's. Okay? There's the old-fashioned model. Remember who said yesterday on stage, it's all about the model? Remember that? See, here's the old-fashioned model. All real estate companies start off with an international company. I'm going to do Keller Williams because I was there 21 years. It's Keller Williams Realty International. And the international company, they divided the whole United States into regions. And the regions were the people that sell franchises for them. Okay? There was 32 of them. And then the regions sell franchises to who? The owners, the franchisees, right? The owners. And these are the people that take all the risk. They're the ones that sign the leases. They're the ones that put money down in everyone. Remax, Century 20, it's the same thing. They said you're going to have to put money and sign a lease on bricks and mortar. And the owners do what? They hire what? Managers. And the managers get their staff. And I ran one for 12 years for Keller Williams. I owned 6 offices. I owned a region. And I was this for 12 years. So I know the model extremely, extremely well. And I tell them, I said, now at the very bottom is who? The managers try to recruit who? The agents. Now, I don't know about you, Mrs. Jones, but does that look top down to you or not? Is that a tops down model? Yeah, because you make all the money and then you funnel it back up, right? Now, the reason I saw this really well is I was in this model, Remax 3 years, Realty Executives 5 years, Century KW, which is like Century 21, no different. For 21 years, they're franchises, basically, and this is how they're all set up. Now, we have a paradigm shift. You know what a paradigm shift is? It's streaming video. What did streaming video do to Blockbuster? Once you could stream it to your home, what happened over time? Nobody wanted to go back in and get the tape. Streaming video just killed Blockbuster, right? What killed retail? The internet, right? Once Amazon could use, I know everybody in here. I went through the phase of I'm not putting my credit card online to, yeah, take my credit cards because, man, if that thing comes, I can buy everything I'm wearing today online, right? So in our business, in the old-fashioned model, agents used to have to go into the office to get a computer. Did you know that? I went through this. There weren't laptops. I had to go in. I was turned down 3 times by real estate companies in 1984 because they did not have room for me to sit. True story. Okay? So, in other words, there's a reason to set up this old-fashioned model, but it's old-fashioned, right? It's really like Blockbuster, and know what happened. So, the new model is this. And by the way, when I met Glenn Sanford, he says, Gene, I said, first of all, I met him at dinner and I said, Glenn, sell me Texas. I just challenged him. Guess what he said? I can't. I said, why? He says, we don't have any franchises. We don't have any regions. I said, wait. You don't have this? You don't have this? And we don't have this? He goes, no. I said, we just saved about 70% of the expenses of running a real estate company. And he goes, and I'm going, oh my gosh, this is very good. And he goes, Gene, but here's what we're going to do. And I said, what? And he says, have you ever read the book Pour Your Heart Into It by Howard Schultz? I said, yep, got it on my bookshelf, 1997. That's when he, 10 years after owning Starbucks, because guess what? They don't franchise. They own all of them together. He says, that's what we're going to do. I said, that's brilliant. Let's own them all together. But then he says, and guess what? We're going to have a stock. We have a stock. It's 18 cents a share. I said, we get to own stock? We get to, he goes, yeah, Gene. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the agent and we're going to make them the owner. So the agent are the owners with us. I said, that is brilliant, Glenn. You got to be kidding me. He says, we're going to sell real estate the same way they do at Coldwell Banker and Central Toronto. We're going to be good. We're going to be the president of the boards. We're going to run women's council. We're going to do everything. We're not changing that. So they're going to sell real estate just like they do anywhere else. But guess what? There's 3 things they don't have, and that's what I go over. There's only 3 things. And by the way, international, we still have that. But EXPI, they support the agent. Okay? They're in a supporting role, not above them. He said, that's brilliant. But he goes, here's how we're changing the model. You guys know it? We're a cloud. We're a cloud-based, right? We're cloud-based, so we don't need the regions. We don't need the owners. We don't need this. We're not franchising, so we got rid of what? Expenses. Bricks and mortar. We don't own any leases. We don't own any furniture. We don't own the copy that the people come in and run all the copies at night and don't tell the office that they've ran them. And they don't, right? I ran offices. So in other words, I said, I've ran offices. Who in here has ran offices? Raise your hand. You understand what I'm talking about. You go, man, this is brilliant. Are you kidding? All right. By the way, I'm going to talk more about this, and these are the 3 things I'm going to show you today, Mrs. Jones. The second thing is we have what's called revenue share. And what revenue share is basically taking 50% of the company dollar and giving back to the agents who help grow the company in what's called revenue share. And I'm going to show you that in a second. Oh, it's just brilliant. And the third thing is we have stock in a NASDAQ company. We call it equity, an EXPI. I said, could we tear this off? And I'm going to put this off to the side. And these are the 3 things I'm going to talk to you about today. Okay? That's it. There you go. There's the napkin presentation. Is that good enough? I kind of threw a lot of other stuff in there. But so let's do this. Do we have any more pieces of paper? Yeah, we do. 2 more. Okay. Does that help? Everybody got it? Yep. You should get that down to about 30 seconds. It's simple. Now, wait, shototoronti kudasai. What do you notice about it? Squares and circles. Go buy the book on how to do napkin presentations. You can get it. Can't get it at Blockbuster anymore because it doesn't exist. Whatever, not what is it? Books? What is it? The book one? But you can buy them. It's how to do napkins. Squares they're boxed in. How big is the agent on the bottom? Tiny. How big's my agent up on top but the circle? Bigger than anything else. Guys, This is psychological, right? All right. I usually do this in black, but that black marker wasn't good. But I do the left side in black, David, because you know why? Ooh, black. Ooh, right? And then pick a good color on the right. Doesn't matter to me, but make it bright. Anyway, that's very, very important. I'm only showing you stuff I've been doing since 1989. Most of you weren't born before 1989. I actually started recruiting real estate agents in 1989. I started my own company and I had 100 agents in a year and a half. And I was with Realty Executives at the time. And I sold that after 5 years. And the only reason I tell you this is because this is what I've done. I've tried to perfect how to show people a model in a very short amount of time. If you start getting too complex, I know you as agents, you're going to disengage. And if you do flip charts, you've lost me on the second flip chart. I'm ADD on steroids, and most of you guys are ADD on steroids. I'm just telling you, if International puts something out, and I'll say it to their face, I'll say it to Leo here. Here's your recruiting guides they put out. I've never used any of them. I haven't used them for 10 years because they think from corporate, right? So they go, here's what we've got, you know, and I go, I don't show it like that. And they go, what do you mean? One of the corporate guys said one time, Gene, just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. You know, they don't care you don't use their stuff, right? It's just the fact that those guys have never recruited real estate agents like I have since 1989. Does that help? And I've been pretty successful at it. Now, how do you guys show rev share? I'm going to show you really quick. Okay? Watch this. Because the same thing. Do you guys just pull up that 7-level chart thing and show it to them? Please don't. Please don't ever show that 7-level with percentages, because they're gone. Their mind's going percentage 7 what but you right. So anyway, before I go to this, I'm going to do the rev share. Any questions on the napkin presentation? Anything? You got it? I can't believe probably at least 10, 12 people have came up to me and said, Gene, I joined because of the napkin presentation. I've never met you before in my life, but thank you. I mean, what a God's gift, right? Okay.
Gene, you're typically doing that napkin presentation, literally on a napkin, right? You're
On a
sitting down
napkin.
with somebody,
Sitting
you're
down,
side by side.
and you sit them to the right because I'm right-handed. I don't sit them across from me because they're cross-eyed. I mean, you guys do listing presentations. You know how to do a listing presentation. It's a listing presentation when I get to that point, right? And you always put the people to your right because I'm right-handed. If I was left-handed, I'd probably put it to my left. Okay. For the left-handed people. Yeah. Who's got one?
You know, I
Hey.
can't tell you how many big deals that I have been in at a dinner table where the seller and buyer have framed and signed off on a napkin, multi-million-dollar transactions.
Yeah, you're using commercial.
Yeah.
Tucker's one of the top commercial agents. You know, the bottom line is if you can't explain it on a napkin, let's just don't do it.
Correct.
Right? The first listing I got, quite honestly, from an open house when I started, first week I was on the job, somebody walked in, and it was so funny. I was only business a week. So I went to the Plano Chamber of Commerce and I had all the stuff they gave me. And the gal walks in and goes, what's this? And I said, well, you know, Plano's the best place to live. I had moved there a month before. I said, the schools are phenomenal. Look at the ratings. The parks and recs are phenomenal. Look at the rate. And she goes, oh my gosh, you know everything about Plano. I said, yes, I did. She went back out, got her husband, and they listed 14 homes with me because they were coming from Oklahoma to be a builder. And I took a piece of paper, I took a flyer, and on the back of the flyer, I had them sign the listing presentation. There was no listing. I didn't bring it with me, but I had just gotten out of school, Kevin, and I knew the 7 frickin' things that needed to be on a listing, right? I did learn something in the school. Now, saying that, I brought it to my manager. She goes, you did what? Right? Okay. By the way, you just deal with this in life, right? Go for it, man. Okay. This is going to be fun. I'm sorry you guys back there can't see, but you can see my butt. It's really good. It's really good.
And there's a bonus.
Yeah, that's a bonus. Isn't that funny? True story. I'm 23 years old and I'm in a bank in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I'm leaving after a year because I'm moving to Dallas. And my manager was a woman, and she says, "I'm going to miss your butt." She literally said that to me. Andy, you don't even know that one. It's funnier now. I thought, well, that was kind of cute. I didn't know you were looking. Okay, that's right. It's because this is better, right? Okay, I write this first, and then I ask them. I make a lot of my interviews interactive. This is really, really important with people. I say, "Can you tell me what this is?" They look for a while. They're not a bean counter. No, I don't really know what it was. I said, "Well, when you go to retire at 60 years old, this is true because I'm past that, and you have saved $900,000, the financial analyst, financial planner guy will say you can only take out 4% a year." I've had a lot of financial people and they said, "No, because you're going to live another 25 years. You're going to live till you're 85. So we're going to only allow you to take out 4% a year."
Bless you.
God bless you. 4% a year, or 36,000 a year, or 3,000 per month. Now, along with your Social Security and everything like that, you'll be able to live. You have everything paid off. You got 900,000 in the bank. You're good. And then I look at the realtor and I said, "By the way, you don't have to say anything, but I'm sure you have 900,000 in the bank now," which I know it's 100%, literally, not unless they just got inheritance from something. They don't have nine. I said, "Can I share with you?" And they go, "What?" "Can I share with you how to get $900,000 in the bank today?" Listen to that script. "Can I share with you how to get 900,000 in the bank today? And I can do it in 3 years." I'm going to say, "Sue, this is you. And I'm going to show you, why don't we do a 3-year plan?" Is that okay, Sue? Can we concentrate on 3 years? By the way, I want you to keep selling real estate, whatever. But as you're selling real estate, because I know that's what you've always done, what do you sell? 30 homes a year? Keep selling those 30 homes. But Sue, what I'm going to have you do in 3 years, I'm going to have you refer to me agents that I can help you recruit. Do you think we couldn't recruit 4 agents a year, Sue? What'd she say? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just 4, 1 a quarter. I'll do it for you. You just, as you're selling 30, just refer them to me. So after 3 years, I'm going to have 12 agents, right? They're all going to be cappers because that's who we're talking to. And let me tell you, those 12 agents are going to be on your first level. And guess how much money out of the $16,000 that we get from that capper that we're going to reward you, Sue, for helping us recruit that person is what? You guys know? 1,400, right? So 12 times 1,400 is 16,800. Every year, Sue, every year they sell real estate. Every year they cap, you get that 1,400. Isn't that cool? Hey, do you get that at Coldwell Banker? Do you get that at Weichert? Do you get that at Long and Foster? Do you get that at Debbie Holiday? And say that to them. And they go, "No." And I said, "It's just a reward for you helping us bring people on." I said, "Now, Sue, don't you think, by the way, we have a second level. These 12 people might bring people. Hey, let's just assume in 3 years they all bring 1. Is that too much, Sue?" She goes, "No." I said, "I'm just taking 1." So now you have 12 people on your second level that you really don't know. Some of them might be in Cincinnati. Some of them might be in some other cities. You know what I mean? But the bottom line is you have 12 cappers. How much money do you get from that, Sue? Guess what she says? "Oh, $700. Make them respond, right?" And I said, "No." This is when Glenn Sanford became a genius to me. Because he goes, "Gene, it's 1,600. I said, "Whoa, that's more than the first level." He goes, "Gene, I want it to be a teamwork. I want us to do this together." I said, "You're brilliant." Because when I was in the KW world, it went way down. The first level went way down to second level, right? So 12 times that is what? 19,000, right? 200. So what's the total of this? 36,000 a year, 3,000 a month. I said, "Sue, I want you to go home tonight and tell your husband that you just found out a way you could save $900,000 in 3 years. And he's going to go, there's no way. We can't save $900,000 in 3 years. You go, yeah, it's as if I have $900,000 in the bank. Because, honey, we're going to be making $36,000 a year, $3,000 a month for the rest of our lives. Okay. Now, Sue, I didn't even go further for you because I wanted to make it simple. We have a 3rd level, a 4th level, a 5th level, a 6th level, and 7th level. But I'm just, and by the way, since you're a capper, you're automatically qualified on your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level. Okay. Is that good? Keep it simple. Is that good for you guys? Now, I know $3,000 a month is not that much for the people on the East Coast. Sorry. 3,000 a month is 3,000 a month in California is for a surfboard. You know, I've always said, you know. Okay, so now you get the go-getter, right? Michelle, now you know everybody's different, right? You might be interviewing a manager at Coldwell Banker, or you might be interviewing somebody that used to be a recruiter in a different life. And you just a second. Any questions on that? I always do that. Any questions? You guys are not interactive enough for me. Okay, one more. Yeah. Everybody's 1 through 3 is open. Everybody's open 1 through 3. So now you don't have to talk about the FLQAs, right? Right. It's brilliant. So 1 through 3, it's open. Don't even talk about the FLQAs, right? By the way, what's FLQA? Pronounce that really fast for me in South African. What's FLQA? No, pronounce it. What? No, we call it a little flucka. A little flucka. Why did we make that? It's a little flucka. Yeah, little Australian. No, little South African. Okay. I always said, why did you do FLQA? That, you know, little flucker. Okay. Now, this is a true story, and I make it my own true story because my daughter, Nicole, if you guys have met her through the years, Nicole Rousseau, this is a true story, so it rings true to me. You can use her as an example, or you can just do it without her name. But this was real to me. So when I do stuff like this, I like to be real with people and say, this happened to me. So my daughter, Nicole, is running tanning salons in Austin, Texas. I'm living in Austin. And I show her this because Nicole's a driver. If you haven't met her, you'll understand. Out of my 5 kids, she's the driver. And I said, Nicole, let me show you this. And by the way, I showed her that first thing first. Just so you know, for a person like Nicole, 3,000 does not thrill the juice, right? Right? So I said, Nicole, here's your 3-year plan. I said, you're a go-getter. You've already seen my numbers, but I'm going to show you how to get 3.6 million in the bank at 4%, right? That's $144,000 a year, or $12,000 per month. I said, right? Now I write that up there, and now her eyes light up. Now her eye, you know, when you get somebody, you go, okay, 12,000 a month, I could commit for 3 years, right? And she goes, and I said, so here, Nicole, here's you. The 3-year plan. On your first level, you're going to recruit 6 the first year, 7 the second year, 7 the second year. Where you're going to recruit 20. She goes, I can do that. I mean, right? So 20 times 1,400 equals 28,000. Now I said, I'm just telling you, Nicole, what's going to happen because you're the driver. You're gonna get 5 of those 20 to do their 20. Okay? She goes, I can do that. Because she was a trainer at all the company. I said, no, I want you to identify the 5 people over here, and you're going to go, I'm going to do your 3-year plan. You guys are all getting 20. So how many do we have on the second level? 5 times 20 is what? 100. She goes, that makes sense. Times 16. which is 160,000. I said, now, I'm just telling you, Nicole, it will happen if you can get in 3 years 20 on your first, who get 100 on your second, they're all going to get one. By the way, I can show you my numbers. This will happen. You don't even have to do it, James. It just happens, right? So now we have 100 on your third, which is 1,000 per, which is 100,000. And I added this up for, it's a true story, and it's 288,000, right? Let me check my math because I just did it last night. Well, guess what Nicole says? They all won't be cappers. Some are going to be teams. Some are going to be quarter taps. So I said, you're exactly right. I said, Nicole, let's just cut it in half. Let's just pretend they're all half cappers. She goes, that makes sense. So it's $144,000 a year, or $12,000 a month. Have you guys ever seen Wolf on Wall Street? Yeah. Okay. Remember the scene in the diner where he comes in and he goes, how did you get that yellow Corvette outside? And the guy goes, well, I made $82,000 last month. Now, this is 1986. You remember the scene? And the guy goes, you did not make $82,000 last month. And he goes, yes, I did. He says, you show me a check for $82,000. I quit my job right now and I come work for you. You remember the scene? And then the next scene is the guy on the phone. Paulie, I quit. Right? That was Nicole. That was my daughter, Nicole. She was making $100,000 a year, single mom at the time. She goes, I quit my job, I come work for you. And guess what? It worked, right? So I only show two. And by the way, there's a fourth level, fifth level, sixth level, seventh level. The reason I don't go too far on this is I think realtors can only understand so much. Right? When you take it and you just do too much, numbers wise, most realtors can't do 3% times something, or 2.5% times something, or 2%, right? You know, it's just true. Now, does that? By the way, this is how I've been explaining it for 10 years. I'm showing you how to slam the ball. I'm Michael Jordan, and I'm showing you how to present it. Some of you are going to go home and go, well, I'm going to just do it different. Please don't. Just copy what people, I've copied almost everything people have done, right, through my whole life. Just tell me it works, you know. Now, you can do this very, very quickly. It's not as long as I showed you. I'm showing you to give you examples. But rev share is really, really important. They're not going to think they want rev share until you show it to them the right way. $3,000 a month has saved a lot of our agents' lives. Is that not true? Raise your hand if it's helped you the last few years. Hello? Hello? It's like a God's gift. We never got the owner's money. We're getting half of the owner's money back to us. That's what I tell them. I said, I'm just in a company that we get half the owner's money. Your company, they're keeping it all, right? They aren't the owners. That's when you go back to the first deal. Now, I will tell you, like my sister Annie, she's really good. I would really get good at showing the cloud, right? Annie says she brings them into the broker room every time, shows them that, but you don't want to get into the cloud too much and tell you what? No, they're in. Because if they're not techie, just so you know, yeah, if they're over 50 years old and they haven't grown up in a tech world, I'd say even over 45, it's the cutoff 45 to 50. We didn't grow up with computers. So the minute you start showing them the avatar and saying how cool it is, they kind of shut down, right? Is that agreeable? Yes. Right. But if you go, I'm going to say hi to your broker. Go in and show them how to do the hi to broker, but don't get so. We lost one the other day because she was so frustrated. She couldn't get signed up. And our agent says, well, just go into the cloud. Are you kidding? Does that help? Yes.
So, do you show this to agents that you're speaking with, like on your first meeting with them, or do you gauge if they're interested in this? Like, how do you determine who this presentation is right?
Okay, here's the whole key to every interview. It's what they want. So I've recruited agents and never shown anything. Vanessa Nunez, Elizabeth Riley brought her to me, and literally in 15 minutes, I said, "What do you want?" She goes, "I want to go from 15 million to 20 million in sales." I said, "So if I can show you how to get to from 15 to 20 million in sales, you consider joining us. I will commit to coaching you for 6 months. How's that? If it doesn't work out, you can go back." She goes, "I'm in." I signed it. She signed it, and I get them to sign it. By the way, get them to sign a piece of paper and date it. We'll fill out the contract later. And she left. Elizabeth Riley goes, "You didn't even talk about rev share. You didn't talk about the stock." I said, "Did she join?" She goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Well, it's all about her." I didn't tell her my story. I didn't tell her why I joined. Let me ask you, for example, let me tell you why it's not smart to tell them why you joined. You want to join a country club. By the way, I've joined my first country club in Puerto Rico. It's a beautiful place. We got 2 golf courses. We got 21 tennis courts. We got 12 pickleball courts for you pickle people. We've got horseback riding. We've got a beach. We've got everything you've ever imagined. So if you want to join the country club and you want to sell somebody on the country club, what do? Take them there, but you ask them, "What do you like to do?" But the problem is, you guys go, "Oh, I'm a tennis player, man. I play tennis 5 times a week. It's awesome. This gal Elizabeth, I know her. She's the coach. She's phenomenal." And they go, I don't play tennis. It's not for me. See, you guys, you go the wrong way. What I do is, why would you want to join the country club? "Oh, I like horseback riding. Oh my gosh, let me check you over. Let me take you over to the stables," which we have stables there. You can have your own horse there. And she goes, "Oh, this is exactly what I want." Does that help you frame what you should be doing?
So, Gene, a lot of these meetings occur on Zoom.
Yep.
So how do you do the napkin?
Same thing.
Same thing?
Same thing.
Do you do it like on a piece of paper?
Yeah, I do it. I do the same thing. What I really would do, and yes, I have. I've done and a lot of times I'll do it and show it to them, on the Zoom. And I said, "Just so you know, this is no talks. This is no talks for all you women and guys." I said, "This is very natural, no talks." And they laugh. I said, "You get to be 69 years old. You look this good too." And that's what they laugh. The women laugh. The guys just cringe. But you know what? I'm myself on a Zoom, right? I'm no different than I am in real life. If you guys know me, I'm a goofball. When I say that, a goofball with my kids. I love Nicole because she still laughs at my dad jokes, even though, and I've known her since she was 10, and I'm so glad she still laughs. You know what I mean? But this is me. You can get my high school yearbook. And they said, "Oh my God, you were funny in the class. I didn't know that was really me, but it is me." Now, you can change in life, and I have changed a lot. I've changed a lot. I'm not saying I haven't changed, but it's just my personality. Have you ever had Brent on a Zoom? He's Brent. He's Brent like you see him. He's no different. He screams at him at the Zoom. He's on. Like, "Oh my God!" Woo! But that's him, right? So be yourself. Don't try to be Brent. Don't try to be Gene. Don't try to be Veronica Figueroa. Quite honestly, there's only one Puerto Rican like that, right? I saw her this morning. She goes, "Do you think people know who I am?" I said, "Oh, you only need one name." So that's the key. The key to recruiting is this: have more appointments than everybody else. It's nothing different than this. A lot of people ask me why I've been so successful, and I got a quote from my buddy this morning, from his niece, and it said, um, "When you uh, when you work as hard as the people you admire, then uh, you can't blame their success on luck." So uh, we just all worked hard. When I met Brent, when I met Rob Flick, who you'll see today, and I met Scott Lewis and Tracy Gagnon and Pat Hayes the first year, I went, "Oh my God, I finally have people that are working as hard as I do." I literally have told them that for 9 years. I said, "You guys, thank you, Lord. You put up, wealth charts too. You put up, I go to their house looks like my house. I mean, I had a wealth chart up with a yacht on it, and and then I go to their house, they have their vision boards. So in other words, we all just work really hard, and you're looking for people that want to work as hard as you do. That's it. And then they don't say, "Oh, you're you're lucky." They understand what we did, and we're still doing it, right?
Can you repeat what you said yesterday about the C?
Yeah, CLC. Okay, guys, true story. When I started this 10 years ago, April 24th, 2015, it's getting really close to that, isn't it? Month and a half away. I had 20 interviews with my top 20 friends. Peggy's one of them, goofball. All 20 of them turned me down. Now, literally, my best friends at Keller Williams for 21 years. You'd think one of them would have at least joined, James, but no, all 20 said no. It did not bother me. I actually had 3 icon agents. Elizabeth Riley was upset, said they would join and did not join the first week. Elizabeth was upset. I said, no, it doesn't bother me. Why? Because I've been recruiting all my life, and that's what you guys do to me. You say you're going to come, and then you don't come. By the way, since I've been doing it since 1989, seriously, right? Michelle was one of them. So in other words, no, when I say that, I don't feel bad for them, whatever. But they called me crazy. You're going to a company. Do you guys understand how beautiful my wife is? I just found the tax returns from 2014, and I was making $700,000 a year at KW when I left. In the first year here, I made $39,000. What wife would let you do that? Frickin' nobody. Does that make sense? You have to be married to the right person. So amen to Susan. Because I went, my God, we worked 21 years to build up something. All of a sudden, goofy genes coming in and going, I want to sell everything and start all over. You all ought to pretend like you're me. If you're going to start all over, you're going to work harder than the person next to you, right? The problem with you guys, you don't want to start all over. You don't want to start all over. I did. It took me 3 years to get back to that level, right? And a lot of savings. I sold all that crap and it used up all my savings. If it didn't work, I'll tell you this story. So I started in 2015. This is really important because life is really important. So April 2015, right? Working. 2016, working. 2017 goes around and it's Thanksgiving 2017. I love Thanksgiving because we line up all the kids. I don't care how old they are. We love our family. We go around and say what we're thankful for. I don't know if you guys do that. You ought to do it, right? Susan's the last one. You know what she said? I'm thankful EXP worked. True story. It was stressful for 2.5 years. Does this make sense? It wasn't easy. If you guys think this is going to be easy for all you guys, you need to get your spousal unit and say, look I'm working 80 hours a week. I'm sorry. I'm still going to sell homes because I got to provide for my family, but I'm working another 40 to provide something so I can make 3,000 a month, 10,000 a month, whatever that number is for you guys. But you have to make, right? Does that help you? Because it brings it home to me. I mean, you're looking at me and going, oh, you were just crazy in the beginning. Then in 2017, 18, I was lucky. And then when we got, we're living in Puerto Rico and we've got the yacht or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Whatever my dreams were, they call me a crook. Because there's no way you can make that much money in 10 years, right? You got to be a crook, something illegal. Well, guess what? Now I added the A. They ask me for advice. They call me now and go, how do I get rid of my Century 21? How do I get rid of my Remax? How do I get rid of the old-fashioned model? Now, do you guys have that written down, why I call it old-fashioned model? You guys have heard me say this before. Never call it traditional. That's what Inman does. That's what NAR does. But it's not traditional. Traditions is Thanksgiving. Traditions Easter. Traditional is July 4th. Traditions are fun. They're not traditional models. They're old-fashioned legacy models. They're literally Blockbuster who said, no. People want to come in. I've read the articles. People want to come in and get the video and see their neighbors. But the minute streaming happened, they couldn't adjust. Does that make sense? So we went from 1,000 agents to 25,000 agents in 4 years. In 4 years, we went from 25,000 agents to 86,000. In 8 years, we went from 1,000 agents to 86,000. Never been done in the history of real estate. Why? Streaming video. What do I mean by that? Bring it back to Netflix and Blockbuster. People didn't understand you can do real estate by Zoom. The last 3 homes I've bought, I did not go see. I bought them online. The last 3 homes I've bought. You guys sell real estate like this, and then you go, wait, I got to go to the office to do what? Right? It's over. It's over. I always tell my buddies, Tucker, you guys are doing horses and buggies, and we own cars. But you're still cleaning up the poop in the deal. You guys don't know how. It's going to take a long time for them to go away. They're not going away tomorrow, right? You can go into small towns and still find Blockbusters. Did you know that? Tyler, Texas, you can still find Hollywood video stores. You know, they're still going to be there in places that they don't want. How's that help you guys today? Was I just awesome today?
So you're saying you have this amazing supportive partner, not all of us have that amazing opportunity. And so I'm wondering, as a single mom, what are your most, like, if I'm working 80 hours a week, half of that is being a mom, running my household, doing all the things on my own. What are your tips for really streamlining so that I can maximize my time?
Okay. Here's what I would do. I'd write down your schedule, and I've done a lot of times in my life, and literally do every half an hour what you do. I would not work 8 hours a week, especially if I'm a single mom. But I'd go get my daughter Nicole, who was a single mom when she did this, right? And ask her what she did. Nicole Rousseau is her name. I'll give you her number. But quite honestly, the times in my life when I've been very, very successful, and it's coming out in my book. My book will be out this fall. Is I go over all the things that I've done that have been really I've written down every half an hour what I've done. And, you know, it's just one of those things. It's a regiment, and it seems like it's too restrictive. You're telling me, but you know, it's really just setting up good habits. Time blocking, and we call time blocking, but I don't even like that word. I just basically, the fact is that you're going to be so structured and so disciplined. Nick Saban said the other thing, you're gonna suffer through 2 pains in life, either the pain of discipline or the pain of having no discipline. And that's it. So you can say it in sales too, either the pain of lead generating or the pain of having no lead generation. Either the pain of recruiting agents or the pain of not recruiting agents. You know, you're going to still feel pain. So if you guys don't get into revenue share, I'm just telling you, 5 years from now, you'll go, crap, I can remember that meeting when that good looking guy was up there in that blue shirt. And God, I can't believe he's 69 years old, turning 70 this year. But you know what? Who's that guy yesterday said he pumped up? How much did he pump? 545 pounds? He bench pressed? I said, dude, I wanted to raise my hand. I said, I'm older than you and I can do 120. You know, I don't even know if I can pump 120, but I can hit a golf ball. So here's the thing. It's going to be your schedule. I would put this seriously. My first thing would be my kids. Just so you know, everything revolved around, I raised 5 kids selling real estate. I put my kids' time in first. I put my vacation time in first. Very important. I put my time seeing my mom and dad, which my mom and dad are both passed. I would put all that in first. Then I'd start with my work life. I'd put in my faith. I'd put everything in there, my prayer time. I put that all in first. The problem is you're thinking 80 hours a week. It's not about that. It's just being concentrated because we don't work 8 hours a day.
Quick question. Now, when you say your kids, I always put my kids first. But
Yes.
I do a lot of traveling and speaking opportunity and things like that. And so my kids go, oh, you're going out again? You're traveling again? I mean, it's your when they're in school. And
Take them
so-
with you. Take them with you. I would take them out of school. I literally would. It's changed my life moving to Puerto Rico because I told my kids if I would have known about the Caribbean, they'd be speaking Spanish because I just love it. And a lot of my younger families are homeschooling their kids so they can literally travel with them. Because I think the problem we have with school is we think we're so restrictive, they have to be in school. Take them out a couple days. Let them take a trip with you once in a while. I just talked to the teachers. I'm sorry. This whole thing. I was all screwed up. Yeah, just do that and just tell them I'm doing it, and we're gonna have fun together. That's what I would do. Yeah, that's all you can do because the whole thing about school, right? You know what I mean? It just the school's pretending like they know better than we do, and I'm sorry. I don't know about you do. I would have won a lot of games if I could have played in the women's sports thing. I had long hair. I would have been the first one. I'm Geneva. Yeah.
So especially like with talking to agents that like might be at Keller Williams are used to like a profit share model, but they've never really taken advantage of that model since it's obviously wording, why would you? So like if someone has an objection like that, well, I didn't do it there, why would I do it here? How do you help them overcome their limiting beliefs? Do you help people overcome?
Yeah, just tell them it. And you get this a lot. You will get this a lot. Oh, so many people from EXP have talked to me. I know all about EXP. Here's what I want you to say. You haven't heard it from me. That's what you say. You haven't heard it from me. And they go, no, I've heard it all no, I'm just telling you, that's your line. And say, I want to show it to you. So a lot of them aren't doing what I just showed you. Right? And then you show it to them a different way. I never understood that. I never understood.
Use a three-way call. Don't make yourself the issue.
Exactly. Don't try to close them. And that's the other problem you have. I'm going to coach some people tomorrow. And the spouse even told me she tries to close them. She doesn't use the three-way call. She tries to close them. Her ego gets in the way. And she even told me this off to the side. So I'm going to have to try to coach her tomorrow. Do the three-way call. Let me close them. I'll close them for you. You don't have, does that help? Yeah.
So my thing is I've been recruiting agents, but I seem to attract a lot of new agents, which now I'm training them, I'm helping them, and like I don't mind doing that, but after a while it kind of,
Just talk to cappers. Just talk to cappers. I started this from scratch and I went, I'm just not, I used to coach a lot of new agents. I just said, I'm going to talk to cappers. There's tons of them. Even talk to half cappers. Get people that are into production and it goes better. And the newbies just give them to the schools or something. No, seriously, you're showing the frustration a lot of people have, right? It's frustrating. Well, they always leave anyway because 85% of them leave after 2 years. So that's your problem. See, if I'm talking to a capper, I got a better chance they'll stay in the business 2 years. So that's all you do it. And guys, there's tons of them. There's plenty enough. Just call them on. Call the top one. How many people did what I told them to do yesterday? I bet you none of you in the room made a phone call yesterday afterwards to one of the top people. You did? Who did?
I texted.
Good.
We've been working on and asked
See?
for an appointment when we got back, and he said yes.
So in other words, if you did something, I was wanting you to take action yesterday, do it today. Good. There you go. Thank you, guys. It makes me feel good. Because whoever takes action wins the game.
Turn it into 5 appointments, not one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what time is it? Because I got to get going. What?
It's almost the end of this. I'm guessing it's when we're done.
I'm looking for my.
I wanted to say to everyone, first of all, thank you so much, Jan.
Was that good?
That was awesome.
And I'm guessing that Brent got held up at his earlier appointment.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that guy's.
But I think what we got here was so powerful. So thank you for joining. Please take a black and white